Now, you're 3 minutes early.
Okay.
Shut up and start talking to people.
First of all, Chris, go ahead and resend me the address you want that shipped to, and I'll see about panning some of that this week and getting it out. Keep checking with me and make sure I've done that and haven't forgotten. It's likely to be a busy week. Hello, Mr. Lodak and David. Oh, it's hey, Dave. So, anyhow, didn't get a whole lot done mining wise this week either. We made a day trip up to the top of the hill there to check out those discovery shafts, which I was suspicious probably weren't shafts because some of them were in places we would have seen significant dumps.
Hi, David. Hi, Dave. How are you?
Yeah.
Dave Vanderwall is here, too.
Yeah. Anyhow, the we were not surprised. We also were suspicious that they were unlikely to be what you would call legitimate discovery stuff. Now, this doesn't matter because these are patented claims. So, a century and a half ago, they were trying to get people to come out west. And so they were apparently pretty slack in their interpretation of things back then. Nowadays, you couldn't get a claim patented if your life depended on it. So, anyhow, but we checked them out because we were hopeful that, especially in the first two, that they might have, actually located the structure. We were trying to find this, like 500 feet down in that area, but there's no indication of that. So, unfortunately, it didn't work out too exciting, but it was worth a shot. As you can see, the weather is getting a little bit cold up here. So we're kind of racing the season. There's some personal stuff we're looking at that's going to take up a little bit of time. What would it take to patent a claim? Nowadays, an act of God. Okay. Giant mining companies have spent enormous quantities of money attempting to do so under circumstances which in the past would have been slam dunks and have been unable to accomplish it. Essentially,
an act of Congress, as Dave Vanderwall said.
Pretty much. Yeah, that would probably do it, Dave, but it would probably depend upon the president. And even then, I'm not sure that the government apparatchiks would go along with it. But anyhow, again, I suspect a lot of these claims, these patented claims were made in the late 1800s. The population is very low. The government was trying to encourage people to get out here. They really didn't care a whole heck of a lot how they got them out here, I suspect. Haven't really researched it real thoroughly, but I mean the whole mining rush around here was, past 1860. 1860 to 1880 was kind of the gold rush times up here in Montana. And I suspect the government was pretty slack. There's lots of places where you can look on the land status maps, and you can just trace the structures based on the patented claims that are on them.
David says, government working against us, yeah.
Oh, not at all. Just ask Peanut. It's not a problem at all. The government overreach is a figment of Trump-crazed imaginations. It's horrible.
Rest in peace, Peanut.
So anyhow, yeah. To get the BLM doesn't really research things too much. But they changed the rules a couple of decades ago to the old law was anything that would lead a prudent person, although it might have said man at the time, to believe that he might be able to extract valuable minerals at a profit was a discovery. Now, in like the 1980s, I believe it was, they changed that to you have to prove you can make a profit doing it, not something that would lead a person to believe he might, which actually had to prove that it was a profitable ore body, which was basically what you had to used to do to get a patented claim. Okay? So even if they want to be difficult, they can make it very easy for them to invalidate a claim if they wish to. So be aware. Let's see.
Chris and I are having a discussion. Don't worry
Okay.
about it.
Anyhow, so I say they keep changing the regulations even though the law hasn't changed. And this is where that latest Supreme Court decision, Chevron, may have a significant impact because they basically said, as I understand it, that government agencies do not have the right to interpret the law beyond the clear letter of the law. If the law says the implementing agency shall determine what constitutes blah, 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 then they have the authority to determine what constitutes blah, blah, blah. If, on the other hand, the law says they shall, not regulate ephemeral waters, well, they can't, ephemeral means it's not there all the time. So end of story.
No, David. What we claim, what we're paying those annual fees for, is not patented.
Yeah.
That is basically a lease fee. Okay?
Yeah.
And we are now to the point where we're telling everybody don't even try to get the small minor exemption. Just pay the dang fee because the government is getting so crazy about
Accepting those.
About accepting them, and their newest tactic the last couple of times we had problems was basically they wait until outside the curing period. They know something is screwed up. They know you made a mistake. They don't tell you until after the curing period so they can invalidate your claim. So
if you file the paperwork 2 months before the deadline and they decide for whatever reason that you screwed up the paperwork in some way, they will let you know a couple weeks after the deadline that you made a mistake.
Yeah. So basically, David, it's getting to the point where it's pay to play.
Yeah. If you want to make sure that you've got, because once they've accepted your payment, it's kind of hard for them to say it's not a valid claim. Then why did you accept payment for it?
The other thing is, I have a suspicion that with all the claim jumping going on and all the overstaking going on, because the paper staking and overstaking and everything, because the BLM has fallen down on the job, I get a feeling they might pay a little more attention to resolving things when it comes to the people who actually paid the money.
I think you would get more preference, but again, it's one of those things. We have had one or two cases recently where the claim owner that we work with had people overstake his claims, and the BLM was able to confirm who was a legitimate claim owner and this and that and the other. And in one case, the person voluntarily said, well, they didn't have a record of it at the time I checked, which was probably correct. And he voluntarily came out and removed his paperwork and his stakes and stuff like that, which is, perfectly legit as far as I'm concerned. BLM was, 2 years behind in updating the records? this was during COVID.
Oh,
So
it still is.
he checked, didn't show anything, so therefore he presumed it was open.
Outliers is just like the 1800s, no difference.
Well, it's a little less kinetic nowadays in general. So yeah. Now, how many people we got watching right now, little one?
10.
10? Okay, so a lot of people showed up. Now, an interesting thing that has happened, we were stripping some partially loaded resin, and we got our electrolytic debris just like normal, and digested it in nitric acid, even better than usual. And then we smelted it as usual, and Eva inquarted a substantial amount of silver just to make sure that there was enough silver so that when she digested it, we could, get just the gold.
We didn't know. We haven't done the inkwort yet, dude.
Oh, that was the. Sorry, I got two different things.
Yeah.
The one with she.
Chris Saucier says Alaska DNR was great to work with. Very simple. When it comes to federal land claims, you'll find out soon. Yeah, you'll find out soon enough, Chris. You trust me.
But anyhow, that was the gravity cons that we were doing. Yeah, we had some gravity cons that she inquarted silver, and you got that down to a bead, but you haven't started digesting it.
I'm
right?
going to be digesting it tomorrow.
Yeah. Well, had 2 days. It could have got going on. But anyhow, there was another one where it was the electrolytic debris from the partially loaded resin, and those have been very good at turning into nice buttery yellow gold beads because the electrolytic debris is very, very thin. It forms a thin coating and then kind of flakes off. So it's easy to digest them thoroughly with the nitric acid to get rid of any iron, the silver, and this and that and the other. And then she smelted it down. She smelted to a lead button and then cupelled down to a bead. And it was a bright silver. It's like, wait a minute. We parted that. We digested, well, she digested it.
I digested it.
So there
should brand new nitric acid.
So there shouldn't be any silver in it. Why is this a silver colored bead? And banging our heads against the wall, we can't think of any silver metal that would get through both digestion and cupellation except for platinum group.
And it should be noted that when I was rinsing this debris with the nice, fresh, brand new parting acid and distilled water, there was a very fine. It's still floating in the acid there. There was a very, very fine, looked like little silver snowflakes floating on top of the water. Yeah. So there was that. I did not rinse it as thoroughly as I usually do. BOS recreational mining says rhodium, platinum, or palladium maybe.
That's exactly what we were thinking. Now, since it came from the resin, it would have had to have been in the solution.
No, the stuff that we're talking about, Chris, does not have any lead. There was no lead left in it when I cupellated it. When I cupelled it, it came down to a bead. I am very, very careful to make sure all the lead is gone. As a matter of fact,
that was about 1900 degrees and froze in it, right?
Yeah, that particular bead actually, yes, I took it to the point where all the lead was absolutely gone, and then I let it.
Yeah, that's it. it shouldn't be lead, shouldn't be tin, zinc. And I say the silver should have disappeared with the parting.
Chris says maybe silver coming from the lead itself. Should not be, because this is granulated red, granulated
It's
litharge.
Yeah, it's gold and silver free litharge from an assay supply company specifically designed not to do that. Okay, and so shouldn't be a problem there. But anyhow, as I was explaining, since we got it from resin, in order to get into the resin, it had to be in solution. Now we just did that test with a different cartridge of resin where we put solution through it. We're measuring the in and the out and the this and the that and the other. And the sample for that, for both the heads and tails and that, were still at the lab. So we called up the lab and told them to run a platinum group analysis on that solution. So theoretically, if there's platinum group in there now, these cartridges were a little bit separated in time and this and that, so there's a small possibility that it could have been a short pulse of platinum group that got sucked out or something, but I'm not sure exactly what's going on, but we're checking it out. Alien dust? Whoa. That should be valuable stuff. Maybe it's nanomachines, huh?
No, it couldn't be nano machines. We haven't collected any fallout from chemtrails lately.
Oh. What she says. But anyhow, so that's an interesting question going on.
One of the things we're doing in that regard is that's one of the reasons we did an in-quart on these concentrates, because I now have a silver bead to part that should, in theory, if there are no platinum group metals in there, give me a beautiful bright gold bead.
Yep, exactly. So we shall see what's going on, theoretically.
Using fresh acid, again.
We are also attempting to see if we arrange a warm place to do work this winter. I can't give any details on that at this point, but while I was checking things out and preliminarily arranging stuff, I got dirt in the other eye yesterday, which was kind of annoying, and had to go to the doctor and get that removed. I say,
What could it be then?
we're assuming platinum group would fulfill all the known criteria.
Well,
We also had some beads before.
yeah.
That was
With
the
those
gravity
white
cons.
spicules, yeah.
The gravity cons that seemed to have small.
Yeah, David. I told him he damn well better start wearing goggles, and that's it.
But anyhow, we've had some before that looked for all the world like there was particles in the bead that had not melted.
Chris Saucier said a bead big enough for acid testing. Those test kits they sell have one for platinum.
Yeah.
Well, we can make some aqua regen and test it if I wanted to do it that way.
Yeah.
Wage Slave says jail. That's a warm place.
I don't think I do well in jail. We'll see after the next election. I may find out. But anyhow, so we've had some beads that looked like there was unmelted solid particles inside the final precious metals bead, which again would make perfect sense if there was platinum group in there.
And remember, this last silver bead that we when that silver bead that we just made, we had that cloudy spot. We had that frosted spot.
That was really weird.
That was going around and round in circles. Brian, if I got a hold of some still water ore, I would be a very, very happy camper.
That was another phenomenon we noticed on this last bead. as it was cooling, it was as if there was a small patch of something that was radiating heat differently than the rest of the bead. So you had a kind of an orange glow in this one patch that moved, actually.
Yeah, and I have some photographs of it that I have not sent to the phone yet.
Yeah.
Shane, I don't think I've run into palladium yet, but it wouldn't surprise me if it screws things up. David Bia says, see alien dust.
But anyhow, so say we have some significant indications, but far from proof, that we may have some platinum group up there too. If we do, that may change calculations a bit. So we'll see what happens. It's definitely cold enough to hold snow up there now, but so far it's been so dry there hasn't been any snow to speak of up there. So it's hard to tell when we're going to get locked out. Last year we went up there one day and came back, and the next day it was like 6 to 12 inches of snow on the ground. So these things will tend to just one day, that's it, end of season. But it's not predictable. It is very much a...
Shane says, well, what you're describing sounds like a palladium reaction to me. Well, Shane, let me tell you what I'm describing, since I'm the one that did the cupellation. The drive phase of the cupellation while the lead was going away was absolutely normal. Everything's in there. It worked absolutely normally. We got to the play of colors. The play of colors worked absolutely normally. At that point, instead of getting a blick the way I normally do, the play of colors went away and the bead brightened up, and chasing over the very surface in a circular motion, like there was actually some sort of convection going on somewhere, was this frosty, cloudy looking spot. It was not
It was a
bright.
patch. Yeah.
It was a patch, and it was oval shaped, and it was matte rather than the super shiny shit. When this bead finally froze, that frosted spot remained. So that's what I'm looking at here. Wage Slave says plats are catalysts, so would that burn off gold in your bead?
I have no clue.
Not that I know of. And Chris Saucier says, just like Alaska, the freeze just shows up. Now, mind you, Shane, this is not the first bead I have gotten that is lightly frosted in one area. Under the microscope, this frosting does not look like orange peel. It looks actually more like little tiny, it looks almost like a miniature honeycomb. I mean, if I had to put a name on it, so to speak. Lars says he's here, so we can start now.
Okay.
Thank you for telling us, Lars. We'll start now. You missed all the fun, dude. He'll have to tell the whole story all over again.
But anyhow, so as I say, we're doing some experiments on that, and we've got a couple interesting things. We took 200 pounds. We seem to be getting less gold in the solution than we would expect based on the initial testing. I think I said this last week. The initial testing was with a very small short sluice and everything. We got about 60% recovery. So I set up thing for the whole big sluice, etc., and I think I've got that downloaded in the computer. I'm not sure. Give me some paper to write on, little one. Let me write a note.
There you go.
Okay. So I think I just hadn't make video 200 test. Yeah, because we hadn't finished that test yet. That's where we had the gravity cons that you incorporated, wasn't it? And
yeah.
And that inquart seemed to come out a little weird too.
Yeah, that's the bead I was just talking about that had the little puddle on it.
Yeah.
And then that is probably the best way to characterize what we saw. It was as though you had the bright, fully reflective silver surface on this bead, and floating around on the top was a little matte puddle.
Like a raft.
Like a raft.
Particles, yes. Say, I don't
Very
know.
bizarre.
But anyhow, that was why I hadn't finished that off.
Oh, that's lovely.
That video, because Eva hasn't digested the bead, so we can't go out there and actually fuse the final bead and get some numbers on it.
FYI, you can never go as a tourist to Quebec.
Why?
Apparently, their new assisted suicide law allows killing dementia patients without consent.
Well, would you give your consent?
No.
Okay, then I don't have to worry.
I said, well, I wouldn't give my consent for you to travel to Canada anyway.
Anyhow, so let's say we're working on that, and we're working on that oddball bead there. We still have one cartridge of partially loaded resin that we can play with. We're going to wait till we get the
Brian
result
Smith
first.
says beads that form poorly with feather patterns on them are from platinum group metals. That is something that I have suspected, Brian, because it does not happen very often. But every once in a while, I will get a bead that, when it is done the same way everything else is done, that is supposed to lead to a nice buttery yellow bead. I end up with a far lighter bead than I expected that's got a matte spot on it, or I end up like this last time with a really bright silver one.
Yeah. So, I say we're working on that. Get the video out once it gets digested and smelted down again. Again, we're working on this spot where we may actually be able to get some operating room over the winter, and so we'll see how that works out. Aside from that, I don't know. On Thursday we went to the Lewis and Clark County, I think it's voter registration or whatever they call it, the voter place, and we were observers for the ballot processing for the mail-in / absentee ballots and stuff. And sometimes tungsten, now that would definitely be a possibility. But anyhow, so where we were at,
Brian says he's had some crystal patterns on beads and had the XRF saying high rhodium content. Now, my thought, tungsten is another possibility because,
certainly wouldn't melt.
remember those white spicules we had?
I don't know the new one. But anyhow.
The ones that we could not pan off that made that first bright silver
I remember
bead.
you saying it. Yes. Anyhow.
And I showed you.
We were at the room where they were opening the security envelopes and taking out the ballots and arranging them for later scanning on election day. The law requires they can't start scanning them until election day, but they can. At some other room was where they did the signature match. Then they would take the security envelopes out of the signature envelopes, send it to this room, and they came in post office trays. They were bundled. It looked like about 50 envelopes to the bundle. They had 2 sheets with them, one bright green, almost like cardstock, and the other one was standard printer paper that apparently had the date, the precinct number, the number of ballots, and just the basic data on this batch. They called what was in a tray a batch. And then they, usually it was 2-man teams. They'd take the tray out, hand the white paper to the lady who was supervising it. She would put that in one file folder. Then they would take it and they would count the actual number of envelopes and compare it to the count on the green sheet. And assuming it matched, which one time it didn't, let's say they would check. Assuming it matched, then they would bring it over, and by those bundles, they would take a bundle out which was rubber banded, smack it on the desk a couple of times in order to get all the contents to one side of the envelopes, run it through a machine which opened the envelopes, rubber band them, put them back in the tray and everything, and then the people that were processing that would take it to a station, pull each ballot out of the envelope, physically examine the ballot to see if it was damaged or grossly, something was wrong with it, check the precinct on it, put it in a stack, face up, pointing the right way so that all the ballots could be scanned efficiently. And once they had all those ballots out of all of those envelopes, then they take them back and turn in.
Shane says tungsten melts at 6279 Fahrenheit.
Oh, yeah.
Platinum is around 3279 and gold's like 1979. Yep.
Exactly. And our furnace only goes up to a little less than 2000. So
our furnace technically, well, it's the thermostat says 1999. Yeah, I don't.
No, I say it's messed up right now. It's only getting up to about 1900. But yeah. So anyhow, just to let you know, everything looked on the up and up, very well organized. The few little glitches were immediately brought to the attention of the person in charge. The person in charge addressed them immediately and appropriately, in our opinion, and everything looks pretty good in Lewis and Clark County, Montana. Okay, but tomorrow we will be at the polls actually watching the in-person voting. So we'll see how that goes. But that also has taken some time up this week.
Brian Smith says when alloyed with other metals, it's much lower. Yes, indeed it is.
Yes, and I don't know how easily it dissolves in other metals. If you have liquid silver, will it dissolve solid platinum? I don't know. We've never dealt with potentially any platinum group metals before, therefore we haven't informed ourselves on them. But say it looks like we need to get a little more knowledgeable on the subject.
Yeah, we're not even going to consider. I think we should just,
I don't know. But anyhow, so.
Wow.
What?
Endangered bees stop Meta's plan for nuclear-powered AI data center.
Whoa.
Okay.
That's pretty weird, man. Anton Petrov was telling about meat-eating bees the other day. So, that's some weird shit, man. But, so we'll be doing some more testing and stuff in that realm. See what happens.
Yeah, see what we can find out.
And go from there.
Chris Saucier says if it's platinum, it'll have a violent reaction with hydrogen peroxide.
You mean the bead?
Maybe he means if there's platinum in the debris and we put hydrogen peroxide in it.
Yeah. Does that work on the normal concentrations of hydrogen peroxide? And I know it catalytically decomposes hydrogen peroxide. I'd forgotten about that, but does it do it in the stuff like ordinary?
Chris says, yep.
Okay. Interesting. What Lars
This
said.
old mine, Lars says that's all we need. Nuclear-powered AI. Nuclear-powered AIBs. You know, you do have a point there, Lars.
That wasn't on my bingo card.
Many things have happened this year that are not on my bingo card.
I tell you what, that's the world being outraged about an assassinated squirrel certainly wasn't on there either. Oh my goodness.
Oh, Tucker Carlson apparently said that human forces did not create nuclear technology. It was demons. Of course, Tucker also said recently, Tucker recently said that he got attacked by a demon in his bedroom or something. I think Tucker's having an odd week.
Maybe they're beaming those 5G things at him.
Chris Saucier said the bead is what I said.
Okay.
Brian says, killer bees. Yeah, Tucker said, I've never met a person who can isolate the moment when nuclear technology became known to man. So where did it come from exactly? It's very clear to me these are demonic. Tucker's been having a bad week since he got attacked by that demon.
Enrico Fermi could tell him. I think
No, I have no idea what's up with that.
So it was pretty obvious. I mean, they had even a guy,
Well, I didn't
a
say...
science fiction writer who wrote a story about a nuclear bomb that was so close to reality that the FBI showed up at his house during World War II to say, "What the hell are you talking about here? How did you know?"
Have no idea, dude.
Yeah, it's pretty.
I'm just saying that maybe, just maybe, Tucker's having a very bad week or two.
I don't know.
Just saying.
That's just like when Arthur C. Clarke invented the communication satellite, you know.
And in other random news, deaf mosquitoes stopped having sex.
Deaf?
Yeah.
So if they don't get their tunes, they don't do the horizontal tango.
I have no idea, but
Wow.
apparently they're looking at it as a novel way to beat dengue fever. What the two have to do with
How do
each
you
other?
deafen them? I'm not sure.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm trying to
Very,
figure out.
very confusing. Oh well, the world is changing, even as we speak.
Okay.
So
Apparently, the guy who shot Osama bin Laden is saying he would sexually enslave Kamala Harris boy twinks. Yeah.
that wasn't on my bingo card either.
He did. He said, well, in case you missed that, Harry Sisson and his, young dudes for Harris that look like freaking 12-year-old boys were they were declaring to the world that they were straight dudes for Harris.
Yeah.
We're not gay. We all look 12 years old, but we're all for Harris. So the guy that killed bin Laden said on X, "You're not men, you're boys. If there was no social media, you would be my concubines." So yeah, it's been one of those days.
Yeah.
X has been a very strange place since Peanut the squirrel got assassinated. I just have to say that, okay?
I have no clue, Jean-Francois.
Jean-Francois, you gotta wonder what's going on with Tucker these days. Ever since earlier this week, or maybe it was last week, when he said he'd gotten attacked in his bedroom by a male demon. I don't know. Like Willie says earmuffs. Jean-Francois, I don't know if Iran will EMP the USA, but if they do, a whole lot of people are going to be very, very upset. And this old Lars says that's something everyone can enjoy. Which, Lars, the idea that a military sniper, earmuffs.
I don't know.
Oh, here's a good description of the United States, people. The USA is 53rd world countries in a trench coat with a military budget big enough to fight God. Okay. That wins the, earmuffs for the skeeters. That would work. Okay, so let's analyze this description of the USA. 53rd world countries in a trench coat with a military budget big enough to fight God. I love it. Okay, that is just perfect.
Oh.
Ooh. Brian says he's still
Good,
looking
Brian.
into milk paste aerogel gold collector. That I really am looking forward to hearing about. I'm hoping if we can line up this climate controlled lab idea, that I will get to do some serious science this winter.
Yeah, it would be nice. So, as I say, we're kind of focusing on that right now because it is getting colder.
Jean-Francois says our Tucker wants to save his skin if Kamala wins, so he feigns lunacy. Jean-Francois, I think everybody's just gone a little insane this week since Peanut got assassinated. That has really caused a lot of people to be extraordinarily upset, pushed them all over the edge.
I actually was wondering if that might have been a plan of Joe Biden to avoid any possible prosecution, too.
Here's something new.
What?
Today, I learned that scientists at Stanford University have developed a smart toilet that reads your anus like a fingerprint and monitors the health of your number 1 and your number 2. The lead researcher said, "We know it seems weird, but as it turns out, your anal print is unique."
There's a smart-ass joke in there somewhere.
Science.
But I haven't got...
Science is happening these days, apparently. Though I never would have thought that one would need a smart toilet.
Yeah. Yeah, Brian, and you might want to be careful on what you put out there publicly on that one, because it might be something you could patent and make some serious money on, too.
And yes, Jean-Francois, the Peanut assassination is straight out of the Prince.
In terms of what?
Oh, it's a very Machiavellian thing.
In what way? That's what I'm saying. How does it do what?
Well, Machiavelli, the Prince goes back and forth between very delicate diplomacy and dropping a nuke on a minor offender. It's a good way to keep people out of balance.
Oh, okay.
Laura says, I hope they don't start requiring anal prints for identification. Shane says, don't worry, Peanut will be eaten for stew. Yikes. Chris says, these days we just call it soyance. Jean-Francois says, the Enterprise and Finger both circle Uranus looking for Klingons. Jean-Francois!
Oh, my dear. But anyhow, so...
that's not the craziest thing I've read on the internet today, but yeah.
Yep. So, anyhow, that's, basically the mining and the sciencey stuff, and we're really hoping to get a good place to do lab work this winter. It would be nice, and we're going to be hanging around pretty close to home this week, but part of that's because we got this work to do in town here, and the other is just we're going to be monitoring the news to see how things go, because it seems pretty unpredictable to us.
Lito says, hi, y'all doing...
Hey,
hi, y'all doing what, mamma jammas?
I haven't seen you for a while, Lito. How's it going?
Yeah, how's it going up there?
Yeah.
Over there.
I was wondering about you the other day. Oh. Because everything's going okay here, except I keep getting things in my eyes.
Brian Smith says, cop says we want to run your prints for warrants. Yeah, that would suck. Lito says, I'm from NAACP. Fire. Like I said, that's far from the craziest thing I'm reading on the internet these days, but there's a lot of weird stuff going on.
It just seems to get more and more bizarre as time goes on. Poor Eva, the other day when the whole thing about Peanut broke, she's like, oh my God, they killed Peanut. And I'm like, huh? I've never heard of Peanut before.
For the record, I never even bothered to tell him about Peanut because getting him involved in the real internet just would not be productive. I let him watch his little short things in his airline crash videos. No idea where Honey Bunny is. And Lito says he's in Hendersonville, North Carolina, waiting on a load at Floor and Decor.
Take a look at the weather along your route. There's severe weather in the just east of the lower Mississippi Valley right now. So make sure you do a quick scan as to what you're going to look at, because you might be getting pretty close to that.
Lito says tomorrow. That was a sweet squirrel who loved people. Yes, Peanut was amazing.
He seemed to be a great little squirrel.
And Fred was so cool too. I mean, Fred hadn't been around that long, but he was. I mean, that video of Fred drinking the stuff from the little Dunkin' Donuts cup, and just the happy look on his face was like, man. Laura says, can I precipitate gold from Eco Gold X with sodium metabisulfite?
Do you have any idea, Brian?
We haven't tried it yet, but I do have a lot of iron out around, and when I read the bottle, it turns out iron out is sodium metabisulfite, so I just may try that.
Any idea, Brian? You've done a lot of experimenting with alternative things with the Eco Gold X. We've been focusing mainly on mineral exploration and such, and you've been doing a lot of extractive metallurgy. So you might have an idea. It's an interesting concept, Lars.
Brian says, I'd use powdered zinc.
I think the zinc is a little more predictable.
Leo said, I carry a lifetime of guilt for all the years I hated opossums for no reason. Opossums are way cute. And they're actually quite smart.
Yes, but they eat some nasty stuff.
Well, of course they eat some nasty stuff. And I'll tell you right now, they don't taste all that great. I like opossums. They're really cute.
Well, armadillos are kind of cute and weird too, but they carry leprosy, or they can.
Yeah, they carry leprosy, and I will say this.
What?
I love the way they can just roll up in a ball. It's like, that is so amazing.
My armadillo can beat your armadillo. Oh, really? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, armadillos are cute, but man, that video of Fred, when they gave him his first taste of like Dunkin' Donuts hot chocolate or something, he's sitting there with his little raccoon hands, and he's holding this little Dunkin' Donuts cup in his hands, and he's got it all over his face. He just looks so happy, you know. Yeah. Raccoons. People call them trash pandas, but raccoons are so cute, you know. Brian says, smelt the blacks and extra zinc with a silver coin to inquart. Well, okay. Lito, the interwebs keep claiming that they have leprosy, and they tell you not to eat armadillos down in Florida because you'll get leprosy from them.
I have no idea.
So, I don't know.
They can contract leprosy. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
It's not like they all have it or whatever. It's just that they are,
yeah.
What do they call that?
They are a vector and a reservoir.
Reservoir. That's the one I was thinking.
That's the worst part about this whole peanut thing. Can you believe these freaking animal control people, first of all, claiming they weren't wearing proper gloves, second of all, acting like they haven't had rabies shots and rabies vaccines, but third of all, trying to claim that they had to test a squirrel for rabies. Everybody in the known universe knows that squirrels are not a vector or a reservoir for rabies.
They
okay?
do. Now, a week ago, not so much. They had no reason to.
Brian says, and then you keep telling part to recover your silver. Yeah.
Sounds good to me.
Gonna have to try it one of these days.
Yeah, we got
a lot of stuff to try.
Another thing you can do this winter too is recover the silver from all your parting acid.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I also want to try to get back the sulfuric and the nitric.
Yeah. So we got lots of stuff.
Yeah, exactly, Lito. Squirrels don't carry rabies.
Yeah.
But yet they had to kill Peanut to test for rabies, and Fred to test for rabies.
Hi, Kenneth.
Hi,
How's
Kenneth.
it going? Oh, let me get the water.
If anybody has any mining questions, please feel free to ask them, because we've got off on a tangent about really weird stuff on the internet and peanuts, you know. Yeah, well, rats are a plague for other reasons, especially in New York City. New York City has as much rats, as many rats as it does humans. It's ridiculous.
I think skunks are one of the biggest natural vectors of rabies, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, skunks and bats. Raccoons actually are a small a reservoir, you know, but it's not nearly the kind of vector that you see with skunks.
Yeah, but it does, Brian, but it does give you an interesting thought of how you would express yourself to a police officer if he wanted to identify you.
Well, I'm still wondering, after pricing smart toilets for the fun of it, when my son Ryan was looking for toilets for his condo, I happened to look on the internet and I discovered that there's like a $1,200 toilet that is temperature controlled, that when you walk into the bathroom, the light comes on because it knows you're there, and the seat warms up to the appropriate temperature. It will even play music if you wanted to.
Oh my
You
God.
do your thing, and then the appropriately warm water cleanses you, and the warm air blow dries you.
That'd just be weird.
And then when you get up and walk away, it lowers the lid and flushes. It's like $1,200-$1,300 toilet.
Yep.
Skunks really are sweet, Lito, and if you get them descented, I mean they're so cute.
Yeah, I've seen people with skunks for pets. But yeah.
Arizona Prepper said, I finally made it. Have you mentioned the stuff on the board yet? Guess that has to do with stuff for the election or coming in times. We have not talked about the board yet, but I can put it up right now so we can go through what the numbers mean.
Yeah.
Asian small-clawed otters are the most intelligent and affectionate animals I know.
That sounds cool.
Yeah, I like ferrets. Ferrets are cool.
Anyhow, why don't you go to the board there? So.
Okay, we're going to go to the board and we will give you a breakdown on this stuff. First of all, gold is at 27.35 and 40 as of just before this started. Silver is at $32.37 an ounce, so it's on sale. Platinum is $979, palladium is $1,055, and rhodium is still at $45.50. The U.S. debt as of today is $35.971 trillion and change. Now, the funny thing about that, okay, well, it's not funny, it's depressing, is the numbers at the bottom. Well, Wage Slave wants to know what's more addictive, alcohol, drugs, or gold fever. Depends on the drug, depends on the alcohol.
And it depends on the person.
And depends on the person, and actually the gold fever is the least likely to kill you at the moment. In 2020, the debt was $29.12 trillion. The annual deficit after taxes was $2.6 trillion, and the taxes that they collected were $2.24 trillion. So, in 2024, we are now up to $35.971 trillion, almost $36 trillion. We are at a $2.193 trillion deficit as of today.
Annual deficit,
and that's after collecting $5 trillion in taxes to date so far this year. So notice, since 2020, in the last 4 years, they have started collecting over $2.75 trillion more taxes a year. So anybody who tells you your taxes have gone down is lying through their teeth, okay? And yet we're still running a ridiculous deficit.
Yeah, they've doubled revenues and haven't made a dent in the deficit.
The deficit is getting actually worse. So yes, we are on an absolutely unsustainable debt curve. Congratulations.
What are you worried about?
Vote, vote, vote.
Can I have my aspirin over there? Aspirin. Farther. Yeah, it's the one that has the label pointed at you saying aspirin. So. The situation is unpredictable right now, but I think we're pretty solid on the.
Oh yeah, the interest on the debt is ridiculous these days.
Yeah, I think that those precious metals are not going down any significant amount anytime soon. It's also my understanding the BRICS nations reached an agreement, so they're pretty much going to be doing whatever they want. You want to switch the cameras again or not, depending upon what you want?
There you go.
But anyhow, so that's going to have some pretty significant effects, I would think.
Jean-Francois says if Elon cuts four times $1 billion a year, there might be hope. He's darn good at figuring out numbers.
I am absolutely certain that if Elon was given free rein by the bureaucrats and the politicians, he could definitely do it.
The bureaucrats and the politicians would be gone.
Yeah.
You know.
But that's
Vito says his wife has owned her 3 ounces since 1995. Gold, yeah.
Yeah. Hey, honey bunny.
Honey bunny says we got flooding.
Yeah, I told you there was some pretty nasty weather over in that part of the woods. Got any tornado threat where you're at, honey bunny? So, somebody earlier in the phrase said that they managed to get Peanut the squirrel, and is honey bunny okay? She hadn't shown up yet. So let's see. I think that, as I say, we're in for an interesting next 6 to 12 months. Robert Barnes seems to be pretty confident there's not going to be extended social issues, which I'm not necessarily sure I agree with him on this. He's pretty good, but I'm not too sure about that. Do you know about Brian Hall, y'all? Or is it Brian Hall or Ryan Hall?
Ryan Hall.
Ryan Hall, y'all. He's got real good minute-by-minute coverage of severe weather. He was on earlier today. I noticed. Haven't seen it in a couple hours, but he was monitoring this situation. They're very good. And, geez, 7 inches of rain, huh?
Good grief.
And that's headed right towards those poor schmucks in Tennessee and North Carolina, too. I know some that won't. I know some that are sitting it out rather than vote for anyone. But yeah.
No, good grief. They've started.
Oh, no, he does everything, honey bunny. He does this nationally. When the hurricane was there, he was doing that. But whenever there's a severe weather event, he will typically have like 3 storm chasers out. He's got a guy, I presume he's a professional meteorologist. But anyhow, this guy is calling tornado warnings before the weather service is. He's saying, I'd expect to see one there in about 10 minutes and stuff like that.
Honey says he's not in my vicinity, at least not that I would have known of, but Oklahoma is getting the brunt of it. Already got over a foot and another foot expected.
Good Lord.
And the evangelicals are already proudly posting that they voted write-ins, etc. because
Uh, anyhow, so, um, yeah, if I was in a situation where I was worried about, possible tornadoes or whatever, I'd go to Ryan Hall, y'all, while having my weather radio turned on or whatever. They're pretty good. They're usually 5-10 minutes ahead of the National Weather Service, and seems to be pretty good. Also, they collect donations, and use it to help victims of these storms and stuff. So it's pretty cool. Yeah, I understand, honey. I say it's just they're pretty good. I can recommend them for anyone who's in a situation like that to keep an eye on. If you
Yeah, Ryan Hall, y'all, is really good.
Yep.
Who you all voting for? We already voted. Let me put it this way. I voted for the felon and the hillbilly, okay? I'm a big fan of felons, especially when the felony is like a really stupid one. And I'm a big fan of hillbillies, Lito says Victor Davis Hanson is voting for Trump. And by the way, as one of my lady friends on X said, there was no way she was going to vote for Kamala Lala Ding Dong, because she is not voting for a brain dead SLUT who slept her way to a good position and has been failing upward ever since. Because voting a woman like that into office is going to set the rest of us back about a century and a half.
Yeah.
You see. And I absolutely agree with that, because the problem with Kamala Lala Ding Dong is quite simple. She is not a smart SLUT.
Yeah.
I mean, if she had slept her way into a position of influence and then learned things and had proven to be intelligent, that's an entirely different story.
Yeah.
Her? Oh, hell no. And did you see what her husband said when oh yeah, she put her head down and went straight to work. Absolutely. That was probably one of the best lines of this whole political thing.
That was funny. Oh. But anyhow, one thing both parties agree on, it's very, very important for you to vote for what you think is best for the country this election. We make no bones about what we think is best, but you have to honestly and sincerely decide what you think is best.
And do your best. Ooh, you got yeah. Another 1983. Woohoo.
I don't recall the couch being involved in it, Lito. Something about knee pads.
Well, let me put it this way.
She does have the endorsement of what's her name? Monica Lewinsky, though. So apparently
she's got Monica Lewinsky. She's got Lady Gaga. She got Beyonce. She got Cardi B. I mean, this is just stellar. Cardi B. And she got Cyndi Lauper.
Wow.
Seriously, she got Cyndi Lauper. And she got Madonna, who these days definitely looks like Lord Voldemort, just gotta say. She looks like Lord Voldemort with long hair and tits.
Maybe it's
that's just the way that is. But anyway.
Lady Voldemort.
That's the way that went. Can you bring me something to drink, dude?
What do you want?
A soda.
Okay.
If you can't vote for the felon and the hillbilly, please either write in RFK or don't vote at all, because Kamala, no.
I think Jill Stein is a wonderful possibility.
Honey Bunny says, I've been invited to both the Demon Rats, the Republicans, and the Freemasons, so I figure I'm overqualified. Yeah, well, of course, Lito, all of those Hollywood people and all of those musicians are just ridiculous. We all know that.
Oh.
I mean, it has been bizarre to say the least.
This is a pretty weird election cycle.
Well, actually, Lito, more and more gay people are coming out today for being for Trump and Vance. It's becoming. We're seeing a lot more since a lot of the largest homosexual blue checks on Twitter said, "I'm voting for Trump, and this is why." Lesser people are, people that are not blue checks or smaller accounts are more willing to say that they voted for Trump. Because, big people are finally saying it. One of the founders of Black Lives Matter is right in the middle of being canceled at the moment with great vitriol and much melting down because he came out saying he's voting for Trump. Ricky Bobby for president.
Yeah.
Well, I think that small town in Alaska that keeps electing dogs and cats for mayor probably has the best idea, Well, Honey Bunny Trump won last time. We all saw what happened at 3 a.m. Just saying. But anyway, back to mining. I have a very ambitious plan this winter. I need all of y'all to cast all the positive vibes you can in our direction, because if we get enough positive vibes, and if the fairy god scientists actually comes through, I should have a climate-controlled lab this winter. So everybody needs to send many positive vibes. And of course it's okay to be gay if you vote for Trump. It's okay to be gay if you don't vote for Trump. Though I vastly prefer nobody vote for Kamala. I mean, let me put it this way. As long as you are not predating on children, and you are not prancing down Main Street dressed as a pony boy or something.
I've seen that on Main Street.
Yeah, or puppy boys these days.
Actually, the one I saw was the leather fairy.
We need many, many positive rays. We want positive thoughts and positive vibes, so I can put together an ambitious science program for this winter.
It would be nice. It is nice being able to work from home, so to speak, like that.
Sure, my furnace is beyond its last legs,
Yes, honey bunny. But I'd say there's a better than 50-50 chance. Well, that's unfortunate, Lito, but life happens.
Lars said he's voting to cancel out his ex-wife.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, Chris, it's getting worse rapidly. The insanity is getting pretty bizarre.
I told you there was going to be a decompensation wave.
I know you did, little one. But anyhow, like San Jose State volleyball team has a guy that says he's a girl on it, and one of the coaches, assistant coaches, said that she wasn't happy with the situation, so they canceled her. They fired her.
Oh, that story is getting
Hold
international
on a second.
attention.
Scroll back up again. Roll up a little.
Yeah.
There, right there, Lito's there. My wife, who is Chinese, says everyone in her gardening group is voting for Trump.
Yes.
Well, that's because they come from a culture where they learn how to think. Yep.
Well, I wouldn't have joined either one either. I mean, really. I'm not going to join the Rosicrucians, nor am I going to join the Masons. So, of course, I'm a chick, so I can't join most of these things anyway.
I don't fit into many groups, personally. Oh, dearie. Anyhow. let's see. So
Lito said, yeah, camel toes matters. Well, camel toes matter, all right, as long as they're on camels where they belong.
What the heck is this?
Oh, they're having a conversation about the Rosicrucians, okay? But at any rate, yes, if we can actually get a climate-controlled lab, I really, really, really want to mount an ambitious science program for this winter. See if I can get some serious experimentation done. It would be
It'd
nice.
be a good place to do the X-ray film too.
Yeah.
We'll have to go over there tomorrow after the balloting so that we can explain why I didn't show up today.
Yeah.
I
mean, really.
I was getting something out of my eye.
Again.
Oh well.
Oh well.
Today I was wearing safety glass under there, and in fact, as I said, real quickly, I couldn't see. That's the problem with glasses. They get dust, they get fog, they get all kinds of stuff. Okay.
Camel toe pie for dinner. Ew.
Yeah.
Don't eat that. You don't know where it's been. Really now, people.
Yep. So that's basically what we're doing. Does anyone have any questions or anything? Because we haven't really accomplished too much. Colton. Yeah.
As Outlier wants an impact mill update. We have not had a chance to do anything with the impact mill.
Well, no, we have. We got it running the other day.
Yeah.
We had a bearing failure, so we had a new bearing. We didn't have the new pulley in yet, so I put the new bearing in place. We ran it. We did a 200-pound test with it. I really tensioned the belt tighter this time. It wasn't flopping around as much, but the outer bearing was getting too hot to hold your finger on it.
Lito asks, are you finding gold? Chris says, do y'all have propane or natural gas there? Lito said no grease. Well, it was brand new and he used that grease gun on it and everything.
Yeah, I put some grease in it. You know, it's brand new bearing, greased it up before using it, ran it, and said, just checking. And it's like,
Jean-Francois says there's no such thing as an OSHA-approved safety squint. Exactly.
Yeah.
And Kodak says he's still looking for a source of 5 ounces per ton in Minnesota. Well, yeah.
Good luck on that one. I hope so.
We do have, yeah, they sell propane everywhere. We don't have a propane furnace, don't I wish?
Yeah. Lito, we are finding some gold. We haven't found any profitable gold at this point. Although the stuff at top of the hill has a lot more gravity recoverable gold than the stuff over at Montana B. And in fact, we may be able to get the vast majority of the gold with a simple gravity extraction from top of the hill. Bentonite with water. Huh. Okay. Anyhow, SA. So I'm not sure why that bearing's so hot. I'll try not tensioning the belt as tight next time. It's pretty easy to do. And see if that changes the temperature profile on the bearing. That may be what it was I was just really pulling on it hard. But we shall see. Yeah, I imagine you'll be cleaning up and digging out from that kind of water. Hope all the critters are safe, and you are too. Whatever, we shall see what we shall see. We're working on it. But nothing real exciting at this point. Plan on doing some paper research this winter and see if we can find some stuff and go from there.
Outlier says, I'm looking to use a centrifugal clutch. Love that mini bike sound.
Okay. Don't see why
Pretty
not.
Bunny says molybdenite or graphite.
Yeah. Well, I could get a molly grease for that. No reason I couldn't give that a shot.
Generally, if the bearing's getting hot, you need a bigger bearing.
Well, that would require about 6 different modifications at this point, unfortunately. Definitely in the plans for the next version. Yep.
Spread
Again,
out the load.
Kodak, spread out the load. Yeah, easy to do if you build a whole new one. A lot more difficult if you don't change a whole lot of stuff.
Bentonite was used in wagon wheel hubs, yeah?
Really? Interesting. But yeah, the next one I'm actually tentatively planning going for an 1.5-inch shaft, but I'll put the spacing so I could put a 2-inch bearing in if needed.
Chris says, get EP molly grease, and Honey Bunny says, can you put some powdered detergent or baking soda in those places where those exploratory holes are? It will increase erosion over time and make what remains softer.
Don't know.
Chris says, bearings love EP molly grease.
Okay, I
And
understand.
Lito says, can you water cool the bearing?
The bearing is not getting so hot that it would burn you on contact. I can hold my finger on it for about a second and then I have to pull it away. So it's not smoking hot, but it shouldn't be that hot, I don't think. That's why I think it may just be that the pressure I'm putting on it, tensioning the belt, is just so much that it's making it hot.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing we can do about that is get a belt that's 1 inch smaller, then you won't have to tension it as much.
Belt that is 1 inch smaller?
Yeah, the reason we're tensioning it so much is because it's floppy. The reason it's floppy is because it's too big. If you got one that was smaller, you wouldn't have to tension it as much.
No, the tension is the force being applied, not the distance. Okay? The way I tension it is with the lever. It's how far I move the lever. I got to where I've got more tension I could apply to it. But right now...
Leo says, have you ever held wet bentonite in your hands? Nope. Yeah, David, that's what I'm trying to say. A shorter belt would be tighter naturally and have less floppiness.
I can get more tension than the belt can handle with what I've got. It's within the adjustment range. I think I'm just too tight.
Outlier says KY jelly, and this old Laura says they used to use molasses to grease stamp mills because the oils would contaminate small gold particles.
Huh. That's an interesting thought. Lars, I never heard of that, but that would make sense. You might also be able to put some kind of a detergent and use that as a lubricant.
Jean-Francois says the human pain threshold is 40 to 45 Celsius.
Yeah, I say it's not getting smoking hot. It's just getting hotter than it should. That's why I think it may just be if I back off on the tension a little bit.
Lito says he needs to come up here and eyeball the situation. Absolutely.
Sounds good to me.
We certainly would like to see you.
Yeah. But, yeah, if you're ever in the vicinity, let us know. Yeah,
yeah, we can go get us a nice burger over at Montana Grill.
Yeah. They got a big enough parking lot for semi-trucks, so it works out fine. Yeah, I say the next step is just tension it less. I do have the new pulley, the 6.66 inch pulley.
David says with the spin vibration, you need more idler wheels. And Brian Smith says, I know a story of a slab of bacon on a sluice that collects all the gold and blanketed the sluice. Yeah.
Yeah, I can imagine that.
Lito says, so true. I'm sad I missed you last time.
Yeah, well, these things happen, unfortunately.
Lito says he doesn't haul boots anymore.
Yeah. The idlers, yeah, I suspect that would be fine, but the vibration was well under control. So I think I may just, the next step is just to decrease the tension. Plus, I can put the larger pulley on, and that'll automatically require more belt, so that'll tighten that up. I could go to a molly grease. That's fine. I like molly greases.
Apparently, the Daniel Penny trial is going quite well.
Yeah.
The prosecution continues to refer to him simply as the white man.
The prosecution refers to him as the white man?
Yeah. Second day in a row. They're calling him the white man.
That sounds like a cause for a mistrial right there.
Outlier says, baking gold? No. Diamonds? Yes. Lito says, I'm stuck in somewhere. Send me some pictures. Yeah. Jean-Francois
Pictures
says,
of which?
probably the mill.
The mill? Yeah.
Jean-Francois says, a trick to remove old paint on sensitive surfaces. 1 part cow molasses, 10 parts water. Let soak for 2 to 3 months and pressure wash.
Huh. So, yeah, I think just replacing that other pulley with a slightly larger one it'll tighten the belt, and then go a little easier on the tensioning.
Lito wants to see this Rube Goldberg whirligig of yours.
Oh, well, somewhere in the stuff is the Bob mill.
Billboard Chris says if Donald Trump wins, I'm moving to America just to get away from Democrats moving to Canada.
Anyhow, yeah, we've had some stuff on it the last few weeks. I mean, the last few videos, I think. For prices. Little one?
Eva, I looked around for prices of the 1983s, thought about finding a coin shop and offering my 83s for 3 of any year. You may get takers for that at this point, because last I checked, 83s are now up to the point where the average sale price on eBay is running like 80 to 90 a piece. You know, you might not get 3 of any year, but you may get 2 of any year. You might, if you weren't dead set on trading them for prospectors, you might actually get somebody to give you 3 for 1 if you went with like generic rounds or
Like
older dinged up silver or buffaloes or whatever. You might be able to get higher weight if you go for something less desirable, if you're looking for weight only. I don't know what you'll get from your coin shops, but I know our guys are now up to paying a couple of, like $1 over spot for most things, or higher, because they're not getting any. And Jean-Francois also says he's moving out of Canada. And yeah, more silver is better. If you really want the most silver, find out what they are selling older commemorative silver dollars for, like Ellis Island silver dollars, if they have any, or what they're selling 40% Kennedys for. Because as a general rule, those coins are so friggin' unpopular that I can still get them when they're in stock over here. I can get them for melt. Okay? So you may well be able to get them. Lido, I have
How does it
mostly
balance?
rounds too, but I have started to shift my buying at the moment away from generic silver, and I'm stacking up more maple leaves, more Philharmonicas, more Ruse, more Kookaburras, more Britannias, uh, more modern sovereign world silver, more coinage, more bullion coins from mints. Like recently, I've been getting a really screaming deal on the Cougars that Canada put out. Those they're absolutely beautiful. They're 4.9s fine, and right now, for whatever reason, the silver world is psychologically primed. People are wanting and are willing to pay more for that fourth nine. You know, I know, we all know that fourth nine is not
Worthless, yeah.
going after, but everybody's going after it. And Outlier says harder to balance.
I know, I tried to get that about 2 minutes ago. I really don't know, Outlier. One thing I can also imagine is that if you had either, well, you probably do it more likely on hammers than chains, you could potentially reverse them and get more wear out of them. But then the pattern of wear might become a thing. So I'm really not sure. I use a solid paddle wheel design for me, and that seems to work pretty well. But I'm not familiar.
Yeah, basically, Leo, 99.999, which is that 9 is just not worth it. Okay. And yeah, Kodak, constitutional, depending on where you are in the country right now, is either still going for a reasonable price or you can't. No, Jean-Francois, these are modern coins that have a Canadian cougar or panther on them. Some people call them panther coins.
She'll see about getting one right quick here.
Yeah. I can get out my babies. I know I got a couple of them out and about.
Yeah, she focuses on that. I completely ignore it because it doesn't excite me, and she enjoys it, and the guys at the local coin shop, everything. Okay, toothpick mining. Right now we're kind of just chatting on some stuff. Go ahead.
Yeah, right now we're talking about silver coinage. This being one of my more recent purchases. It's a Canadian cougar coin, basically. Some people call them panthers. This one is from 2016. Beautiful Elizabeth on it. And absolutely, Lido. That's why I only shop locally. I only buy stuff that I can hold in my hand.
Yeah.
Because there's way too much counterfeiting going on. By the way, folks, the new generation 2 counterfeit prospectors are apparently a significant improvement.
The Gen 2
over the first generation counterfeit prospectors. So watch out when it comes to you don't, David, I don't do that glove thing, okay? I am not, though that coin is not slabbed or graded, it's loose because I want to feel my silver.
Yeah, if
all y'all can go ahead and yell at me about that, but the only time I use gloves is if I'm dealing with an ancient coin, if I'm dealing with someone else's coin, or I'm dealing with something slabbed and graded. I do not see. I like to hold my silver. And Jean-Francois, yes, they are beautiful. They're absolutely beautiful coins.
Hey, Toothpick, if you got any particular questions, don't be afraid to ask, because it'll tend to drive the conversation in a productive way. So,
yeah.
Whatever you want. If you got something that comes to mind, don't hesitate to ask it.
Yeah, no Chuck number 3. Jean-Francois, there will never be Chuck number 3 in my coin stack. And yes, David, there are acids on fingerprints, and yes, I will actually clean my coins. I don't clean them with chemicals. What's the tip speed on your mill, dude?
Well, I'm running basically about let's see, that's 24, 22, about 20 to 21 inch diameter. So call it 10 and a half inch radius at about 2,500 RPM, I believe. So what does that work out to? Calculator, please.
Here you go.
Okay. So we got...
Yes, Lito, baking soda is what I generally use, and distilled water. I do not scrub either, by the way. I soak. I personally have not used the coin pinger apps yet, Kodak. I do want to be able to put one on my phone at some point. I just have not used one yet because I have a pretty good ear for my silver. I know what two prospectors ringing together are going to sound like. Mine all ring true.
Roughly 75 feet per second.
Honey Bunny says all her silver is either solder sticks, solder rolls, or computer parts.
My calculation is about 75 feet per second, or no, 75 miles per hour. What's that? Yes. Times.
Jean-Francois says if the price is right, I would buy Chuck E3. They could always be melted.
About 110
As a
feet
matter
per
of
second.
fact, Jean-Francois, that is something we have discussed here. The only circumstances under which a Chuck number 3 would come into the house is, number one, if I got it at melt or lower and it accidentally was going to fall in some nitric acid for some reason or another. Number two, if I got it for as close to melt as humanly possible and I was able to trade it to somebody at a good premium in order to get some silver I actually wanted.
What is this? Like a Japanese or a Chinese version of a yam? Lito? Sounds interesting.
Good grief.
What?
1 month later on in Marshall, North Carolina, they're still shoveling mud, boiling water, and hoping somebody remembers they're there. They're Kodak, they have King Charles III on the back because Elizabeth II died. Some of us do not like Chuck number 3. Some of us absolutely despise Chuck number 3. Well, yeah, honey bunny, I can always try to get a Chuck number 3 from 4.95 to 5.9's fine. I mean, then we could try.
Well, actually, it's a great coin to use for importing.
Yeah, I mean, really.
You know, if you take a Chuck E3 and dissolve it in nitric acid and then precipitate it with copper, you wind up with great parting silver.
Lito said he sent photos.
Okay.
Well, let me see if I can get in the email and find your photos here. Oh, darn it, that's right. Yeah. Oh. This is just going to take a minute here while I try to get some things organized. I don't see your email yet, Lito.
Check on spam just to be sure.
Yeah, that's what I'm about to do. I don't see it in there anywhere.
Hasn't shown up yet, Lito. try again in a minute.
Yeah.
Now, while she was doing that search, can you folks tell me what were you seeing on your video?
They were seeing you sitting.
Okay. I was wondering.
That's all they could have been seeing, silly. Let's see here. Purple and white yams is what they are, by the way. And Jean-Francois says AgNO3, as in silver nitrate, sells at 200 to 300% premium over spot.
Well, yeah, you probably have to have it, reagent grade or something like that.
And Lido says they taste great. And David Villa says designer yams. And Honey says silver nitrate can be used to make mirrors, so it's pretty profitable.
Yeah.
I value only spot, never collector, do not like to pay or trade for more than spot. I absolutely get that, Kodak. I always end up paying a premium because I'm buying from a local coin shop. So, Lido says she thinks her harvest is around 500 pounds. Honey says she never pays more than spot ever, but typically pays much less. Outlier says purple. Juan Vasquez says, I started finding decent gold on Lynx Creek based on all your info on your dozer pushes. Huge thanks.
Oh, you're very, very welcome. We're glad we could help out in any way, shape, or form.
Woohoo!
If you have any questions or anything you think we could help you with, just let us know.
And Kodak says, I'm seeing spots before my eyes and pink elephants, huh? And Lido says, no, they're not GMO yams. Oh, good. GMO yams would, be rude.
Yep. Anyhow, so, yeah, that's so good, Juan. I appreciate that.
That is excellent. Congrats. Yes, absolutely. Cassava lives matter, according to Outlier, yeah. And Lido says also choy and white carrots in the photos. Well, as soon as we get the photos, I will take a look. Go see.
Did you send it to hardrocku@outlook.com, Lido?
And there's your chiropractor's email here. Sorry we missed you. Looks like you missed your appointment. Okay.
Yep, I did.
Yeah, well, we'll have to go over there tomorrow to...
Let's
see. Oh, come on. Okay, whatever. Gonna be that way, you stupid piece of crap.
He says he sent it to hardrocku@outlook.
Jean-Francois says silver nitrate ammonia for mirror making should never be left to dry, otherwise it explodes.
Really?
Wow, that could come in handy.
Interesting.
Exploding silver nitrate. And by the way, I absolutely love colored carrots. And yes, we do like bok choy now and then. He prefers Napa cabbage. I like all kinds of veggies. So.
Yep. Oh, and with respect to the eyes, the right eye, according to the doctor, is continuing to heal and get better there. So that's good too. Because most of the rust has come off now. Oh, poor Eva was sitting over in the chair making disapproving noises while he was manipulating things in my eyeball.
Well, I am very, very annoyed with you because I understand that wearing glasses is inconvenient and all that. But you already have endangered your eyesight.
I understand. But let's say there's sometimes that they just becomes impossible to see through them, and that creates other hazards.
Oh.
Still hadn't shown up?
No, I'm still not seeing anything in here.
It hasn't shown up, Lito. Don't know what's up with that.
White carrots are really daikon radishes. Yeah, would not surprise me. And silver nitrate is an initiator in blasting caps. Jean-Francois said that's how they make exploding snaps. Silver nitrate and ammonia compound.
Huh.
And yeah, Lito, he needs safety goggles or a face shield. It's just he always
the face shield wouldn't have worked in this one.
He always says that it just makes it, the dust and
Not
everything.
Not always. It's just in some cases, like when you're working inside a dusty environment, looking down, you don't need safety glasses in general. And then an hour and a half later, when you've got a few seconds where you're looking up, and you don't have them. I say it's just one of those things. Nothing was flying at any speed or anything like that. Just a little dirt got in there. There is nothing wrong with wearing safety glasses, except in some situations it becomes impossible to see at all. Then you got a problem. The miners down there in underground, they would usually hang their safety glasses from a cord here, so they had it whenever they needed it. But the mud splashing out of the holes as they're drilling them would blind them in a matter of a minute.
Massive weird bullshit going on in Harris County, Texas.
Harris County, Texas. Where's that? Dallas?
Austin.
Austin.
Austin, I believe.
Yeah.
It's one of those nasty places. Kodak says with old primers, you had to clean barrel with hot soapy water to keep from rusting. Mercury fulminate.
Yeah.
Generally, the U.S. quit using those around the 50s.
Yeah. The corrosive primers.
Yeah, there's shenanigans going on in Harris County, Texas now.
What kind of shenanigans?
Huge discrepancies in early voters by polling location between yesterday and what's now showing today. These should not change. Yet 60 polling locations have indeed changed. Now, this is according to Congress Critter. The beginning of the list and the end of the alphabetical list are all nearly the same. The entire middle of the reports is off, where the votes are moving around. Somehow. And yeah, daikon radish, if it's dealt with properly, I've heard is really good. I have not had a chance to try it yet.
Yeah. Yeah, her son had an Enfield once using the old corrosive ammunition and didn't clean it. It corroded the barrel so bad that we retired it from service and put it in to take to the next gun buyback thing, so that they could give $50 for a dangerous piece of crap and get rid of it. It's unfortunate, but I mean, it was badly corroded. I only have half the hanging chads I used to. Yep. This is going to get real interesting, because the people in power want to stay in power. So if the election doesn't happen or is so screwed up that nobody can tell who won, they stay in power.
Kodak says turning in his hanging chads tomorrow. Lito says I've got some bok choy chopped up with some onions in my fridge. Yeah, bok choy is pretty darn good.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
But anyhow, so
to purified mercury so it doesn't stick to clean glass, bubble air through it for a few days while covered in diluted HNO3 nitric. The nitric will pull most metals into solution.
Okay, yeah.
And Outlier says a 7.54R barrel be gone. Sad face.
Yep. Well, as I say, it was just a bolt action. Well, wasn't it? Was it an Enfield? No, it was what was the bolt action Russian rifle?
Mosin Nagant.
A Mosin gun. Yeah, it was a Mosin.
It was a Mosin. But it's still, I mean, it was a gun that had my son actually decided to clean. It was a good weapon.
Yeah.
Guy Choi is also good, according to Lido. Never tried it.
Yeah, never heard of it. So anyhow, as I was saying, I think that the people in power are perfectly willing to just totally screw everything up so that nobody wins. And I don't know where that leaves us, but it's supposed to leave us with a new election. In most states, if you can't tell who won, you have to rerun the election.
Vito says the nosy mosey. Yeah. Jean-Francois says Vivek said they don't want to protect democracy, they want to protect bureaucracy. Absolutely.
Yep, absolutely.
I have no idea what is going on with his email. Lito, I really do not have any idea what's going on with his email. I am not seeing anything in his email.
Go ahead and put it in the thing what our actual email address is. It might be a small text thing, but yeah, I mean, he sent us stuff in the past. So it should. Go ahead and check that and make sure that's where you sent it to, Leto.
Honey Bunny says evil's willing to die to prevent good from winning, and Kodak says screwing is in the eye of the beholder. Honey says I had an SVT 40, which is much better than a Mosin.
I presume a lot of things are better than a Mosin. The Mosin was a pretty old thing. They were serviceable and reliable as far as I know. They weren't really known for accuracy, although the 7.62 by 54, I guess, was a pretty good cartridge. Okay, he just sent some text with no photo. Good idea there. Because that might have been what was screwing it up. I don't know.
Nope, I can only assume he's sending it from an email address that for some reason Google has already, an email domain that Google considers automatic spam or something. I have no idea.
I don't know. In that case, it should have shown up in the spam folder.
It should have, but that doesn't always happen. Sometimes
Really?
it's junk mail. Sometimes it will not show up in spam.
Huh.
That's what I'm saying.
That's weird.
No, I literally am not seeing anything in here, Lito.
Huh. That's odd.
Okay, I'm going to try something. I'm going to try something here. Oh, we don't have you.
Okay, so what's your email, Leto?
I don't think he's going to want to put it public. I was seeing it whether you had him stored. What's his name?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Can you give us is that your...
Lars, I've checked every folder we have.
He said your Yam folder.
I know. I'm trying to remember Lito's name. Because I don't know how it would have shown up, because I was going to try sending him an email, but I can't bring him up in here.
Can you give us enough of your email that we can...
In Connecticut, we're partial to the 303 British. 1989 cartridge is still very common in stores. Even Canadian Tire carries them.
Huh.
No, the meanest single, Honey Bunny is still talking about her, whatever it is. The meanest single operator is 762 by 54. Outlier says, Lars, working now? Working no?
I'm pretty sure it probably means now.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Lars was looking at getting that job.
I just gave it to you.
Well, hasn't shown up yet, Lito. That's what we're trying to do.
Yeah, I mean, nothing is showing up in his email. That's why I was trying to send you
anything that comes from you.
Yeah, that's why I was trying to send you one, but I could not look.
Focused, in other...
Will you be quiet for a minute? I tried to find you in his contact list, but since I don't know what name it would be under,
Yeah, you're way back in time there, yeah. I don't,
yeah, half of these people, I mean,
yeah, I don't know, Lito.
I'm not,
Nothing is showing up. I have no idea why.
and I'm not seeing anything from anybody else either. Your email is not very active right now. So.
Yeah, it usually isn't. I mean, in general, it's not unusual to go a day or two without an email of any kind.
That must be nice. I get spam up the wazoo
Well,
here. Yeah.
Have your smart toilet check that out.
Just gave it to you. Lars says it's not working. Lido says it's on the screen. Look at the screen. Well, I'm trying to find it, Lito.
Try and leave out the @ symbol.
Leave out the @ symbol or something because it's not showing on here. All I have from you is a note that says send me an email.
Yeah.
It is
if
not
you try
showing.
and post that, there we go. I bet you that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, Lito. You're on my phone as Lito, Idaho.
Yeah, and it doesn't show it all on the screen, Lito.
Yeah, it's not showing on the screen at all because you're not a what do you call it? But anyhow, you don't have authorization to give a link.
Here.
Okay.
Or an email address. Just have him spell it out to you. Write it down.
Spell it out to me right now. You know. Say that again. So that would be Z golf. Yeah, okay. Got it.
Okay, I will try that.
Who? At where? Yahoo. Okay, there you go.
Okay, it's in here.
Okay, she's got it. Yeah, I say it. If you don't have certain kind of privileges, you can't type links or stuff like that. It won't show it for whatever reason. Yeah. If you take a look, you see some people have blue lettering. Those people have been given those privileges. Yeah, moderator privileges. Yeah. Yeah. Anyhow, she's sending you an email right now. Okay, she just clicks.
Hopefully you can reply to it.
So then you can reply to it, sending those pictures with it, theoretically. We would think. Yeah.
Damn it. No.
Okay. Electrons.
Ah, here they are.
Okay.
Somehow it landed someplace that was nowhere.
Okay, she says, where did it wind up, little one?
I have no freaking clue. That's what I'm trying to figure out. For some reason, it landed someplace else. It didn't even land in inbox.
Didn't even land in
I
inbox.
have no idea how.
Yeah.
It didn't land in spam. It didn't land in inbox. But by golly, I got yams on the screen. I have no idea where it even is.
She has no idea where she's at.
Yeah, it says all folders, but I'm not finding you in any folders that normally have email in them.
Yeah. Yeah, she does. Well, she'll see if she can post them up there so people can see them. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Good. Yeah, sweet. Sounds good. Okay, we'll see about getting these pictures up there. You take care. Okay, bye-bye.
I think I have it, so it's going to come into your inbox next time. I have no freaking clue. Okay? I don't even know how it didn't get into your inbox last time.
Electrons, man. They're
Don't ask
conspiring
me.
against
I'm
us.
trying to. While I'm trying to deal with this, will you just be quiet?
Oh, my goodness. Ignore my live stream.
Yeah, you need to ignore your live stream for the
I
moment.
cried, but it hurts my eyes.
Dang it, Dan, will you just be quiet? I'm trying to do something.
Ignore it. Goodness, I'm not talking to you. Oh.
No. Go away, you stupid piece of shit.
Anyhow.
That's one.
Those are yams. They look like tasty yams. Bet you they got a lot of carbohydrates, though.
Well, they can't see them yet. I'm about to make them seeable.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. Okay. These. Yam box has a nice ring to it. Well, I'll be yammed. It's in the yam box, yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Spell checker and I are always fighting. Get that CC. Yeah, you probably missed some of the stuff I sent you then. Quite possibly, honey bunny.
Sometimes I don't necessarily respond because I'm just so busy, honey bunny.
Okay, so these are the yams. These are apparently Morosuke yams.
Yeah.
Brian says he might need liquid nitrogen soon. And then we got these beautiful yams. Look at those.
Yeah.
Those are some nice looking yams.
Yeah.
Okay. So those were some nice looking yams there.
To freeze dry. Okay. That makes sense.
Kodak says give him a call when there's too much gold to carry. He's got to get going.
I suspect that's going to be a while, John.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it won't be by next week, so check back.
Lars says, but they're in the dirt. Well, yeah, yams tend to grow in dirt, Lars. I know this is an alien concept to people in California. But yes, Lito, those are some beautiful yams. Absolutely beautiful.
Oh, my goodness. Oh.
And with any,
yummy, 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 huh?
with any luck, your next email will actually show up in the inbox because I have no idea where the heck it showed up this time. But it did finally show up. Slave said those yams look like prairie oysters. Not really, but okay. At least they don't look like any prairie oysters I've ever seen, but, you know, I may be wrong about this.
I'm thinking like Rocky Mountain oysters, maybe? I don't know.
Yeah, veggies grow in dirt. It's a really bizarre concept.
Your goats don't care. They'll eat them all. Did the goats actually dig up tubers or anything like that? I know they, will eat stuff right to the ground, but do they actually do any digging or anything like pigs would? I don't know. I mean, that's a lot of good calories just inches below the surface. Is that another email, Lido? Oh. Unfortunately, even though we eat a lot of dirt, it's not terribly nutritious. That's a good question, Jean-Francois. I do not know. Little one? Is there
freeze drying meat for pemmican is it okay to do, or do you need to hot dry the meat against bacteria? That I am not sure, Jean-Francois. Everyone I know does not,
Okay, thank you, honey bunny. I would thought
Lito says, Not sure what it refers to.
I said, did he send another
Yeah, I will check in a second.
Yeah. I would thought so, because goats are so adaptable. Okay, she'll look it up in just a second. But Keith, it's full of minerals. Yeah, it's full of minerals, but no vitamins and no calories. It's very filling, but not terribly nutritious.
Besides, if you try to chew it up all the time, you try to chew up dirt, it kind of wears your teeth down. So.
Well, better than trying to absorb it through the sclera.
And yeah, I got your "this is a test." I got a "this is a test" email that is just text, but I'm not seeing any more pictures yet. I absolutely hate his email.
Apparently it hasn't showed up yet.
Yeah, I mean, literally, I have no idea why it wouldn't, but it ain't there yet. Dry meat in an ozone-rich environment. Yeah.
That would do it.
Lido says the other dark meat.
Yeah.
Honey says she's eaten a whole lot of tree roots, actually. Well, I personally, when I was a kid, we used to eat cattail tubers. Cattail roots are good.
What kind of trees have...
She just said elm is
Elm?
especially good. I wouldn't want to try it.
I wouldn't know how to identify an elm. I'd probably get something like a willow, which would kill me.
White willows make aspirin. We got a lot of them around here.
Yep.
Honey says sassafras is almost addictive.
That's a tree? Oh.
Jean-Francois says that was a good idea using the ozone.
Yeah, it sounds like it would do a good job of sterilizing it.
Lido, I have not heard of Joe Bye. Yeah,
Done tons of sassafras? Okay. Apparently it's not only tasty, huh?
Lido says it's an edible plant with aquatic plant with edible tubers.
Okay.
Yeah, sassafras is a root.
Yeah. I don't know. I never tried sassafras.
Watercress, I like off and on. I want to grow some water chestnuts one of these days. I was somebody I was talking to likes to grow water chestnuts in one of those plastic kiddie pools.
Huh.
Lido says it looks pretty in a pond. Jean-Francois is still asking questions about pemmican of other people. We got three different chats going on at once.
Yeah.
Long, thin, green, tall leaves.
Hmm.
Outlier said the bark is good too.
Interesting. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I know, honey bunny. I've actually seen them grown in large tubs before.
They're an actual
container things.
Like tree that grows in soil.
Want to get a good picture here. But anyway, does anybody have any mining questions?
Sassafras is root beer, huh? Okay.
Yeah. Sassafras is root beer.
Yeah, I'm not a big root beer fan, but
I love.
Yeah, she does.
The Chinese water chestnut is a grass-like sedge native to Asia and Oceania. Yeah. It's a sedge. It's a little grassy thing.
Uh-huh.
So those kind of water chestnuts are the kind that I have seen grown before in big, in tubbies.
Sedges have edges and rushes are round.
Find a large container to house your water chestnuts.
With me, it'll
8
be a
months.
small container.
But they got to be USDA 9 to 11. They need a frost-free growing season of 7 months to grow. But yeah, you grow them. See, you grow them in tubs.
Okay.
Yeah, I love root beer. Root beer is one of my favorites. I don't know how to mine sarsaparilla, Lars. I would love to.
Oh dear.
I like sarsaparilla too.
I better set my alarm.
Yeah, you've got to set your alarm because we got to get up early
When do you
in the
want me
morning.
to wake you up, little one?
You're going to have to wake me up at like 6:15 so I can put on clothes and we can wander out the door immediately. We are going to have to get off here pretty soon so that we, you can make food or whatever if you want to. Genuine root beer is quite different from the commercial stuff. Yeah. Many things are quite different from the commercial junk Jean-Franc. There used to be a vanilla cream soda, called Natural 90 that was made up in Canada. That was the best cream soda I have ever had in my entire life. Don't know whatever happened to it. And yes, honey bunny, English chestnuts are big trees. Chinese water chestnuts are like a tall grass with little water chestnuts on the bottom. They're a sedge.
Okay.
But they need like 7 months frost-free, 7 or 8 months frost-free to grow.
My alarm is set for 7:35 in the morning.
No, it needs to be set for 6.
Oh, sorry, 5:35 in the morning.
Yeah, I was gonna say hello. We're working 7 to noon tomorrow.
That's right. Because we're flexible, we can take the bad shift.
Yeah, we're going to be defending democracy and all that.
Yeah. Because democracy dies in darkness. Wait a minute. We're getting up so early it will be dark.
Outlier says mining tarantulas this fall migration, big time, east of El Mirage.
Oh,
Eek!
yeah, you could cast them in that.
Yeah, honey bunny,
casting
they grow best in zones 9 to 11, I heard. Yeah, Jean-Francois, it was delicious. Natural 90 was probably the best cream soda I have ever had in my entire life, and I don't know what the heck happened to it because they used to sell it down here in 7-Elevens, which is a convenience store. And then, now you can't find it anywhere. That was one place you could find it. But yes, water chestnuts. Lars, I don't have a heartbeat at that hour of the morning either. Unfortunately, the polls open at 7, and we're supposed to be there at 6:30 to watch the opening procedures between 6:30 and 6:45.
By the way, where is our
Clipboard?
Yeah.
On the bed because you threw everything off the chair you're sitting on.
I don't recall seeing a clipboard.
There was supposed to be one there. Maybe it's still in the car.
I don't know.
Oh, dear Lord. Yeah, that looks like it right there. Maybe. No, that's not it.
He's mining stuff. And this clipboard.
No, it was a wooden clipboard. It was not a paper one.
Yeah, it's plastic, isn't it? Sitting on wood, so it looks
was not
wooden.
a clear plastic one. Yeah, it was wood like that one.
Yeah, but this isn't it.
Good night, Jean-Francois. Bonsoir.
Nope. There. Might still be in the thing. I'll put this.
Outlier says the money shot by Keith. Yeah, not precisely.
Hey, if you want to, go ahead and send money. I'm not proud.
The jeans aren't tight enough for it to be a decent money shot anyway.
Only half the money I used to have.
No, he never does zip it up. I have tried, okay?
It was zipped. Almost all the way.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So you keep claiming. Cheer up, at least he wears underwear. Dude does not go commando, so we are all spared. Yeah, honey bunny. I mean, if you look up Chinese water chestnuts, you'll see all kinds of tutorials for growing them in tubs, like feed tubs and shallow tubs and kiddie pools.
Use staples. That's harsh, Lars. Harsh.
Well, then you'd have to carry a staple gun so that every single time you went to the bathroom, you could staple everything up again.
I'd have to have a staple remover, too. Pretty soon it would be like one of those soaker hoses. Yeah, anyone got any last questions or whatever there? Things have, as usual, degenerated into chaos. I'm going to leave that clipboard there. But yeah, we got a clipboard missing. It may be in the van.
Yeah, correct. I hope so.
Because they had some paperwork on it. But that'll give me time to at least look for it. But I just can't imagine where it is if it isn't in the van.
Yeah.
Anyhow, I don't see any questions or whatever. So let's go ahead and, hey, look what I guess go ahead and
way to go,
sign us out, honey bunny.
Wage slave said, "Do it again."
How long do you need, wage slave?
Chinese water chestnut. Turned out a tree. Oh, everything I saw online said they don't turn out trees. So they're listed as a sedge. Sedges don't make trees.
Sedge would not be a tree. A sedge looks like a reed, but it's got a geometric shape with edges on it. Okay, everybody. See you next week. Happy prospecting and keep it safe out there.